Alright guys, so continuing my coverage of the 2019 Oscars, today I'm going to be talking about the big one, Best Picture. I left this category till last year, but this year I wanted to talk about it ASAP because it is such an open race that I want to hear other people's theories, thoughts and opinions on who they think is going to win, because it really is anybody's guess this year. It is too close to call. This is a predictions video, but it's also a discussion. I really want to hear from you guys. Do let me know in the comments section, who do you think will win? Who do you think should win Best Picture? And as always, if you guys want to stay updated on all my upcoming Oscar predictions videos, be sure to click that subscribe button, hit the bell if you want the alerts, and be sure to add us on Twitter. I'll put it on the screen for you now. So if you're new to my channel, this is how this video is going to work. I'm going to list all 8 of the Best Picture nominees, and then I'm going to say who got snubbed in this category. Then I'm going to have a ramble about all 8 of the nominees, say what's good and what's bad about them. Then I'm going to talk about who could win in this category and give you some analysis. And then I'm going to say who I want to win, and then I'm going to tell you who I think will win and give you some analysis on why I think they'll win. So let's just get started. The nominees for the 2019 Academy Award for Best Picture are BlacKkKlansman, Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favourite, Green Book, Roma, A Star is Born, and Vice. Okay, let's talk snubs, because there were 8 nominees for Best Picture this year, and the Academy can choose anywhere between 5 and 10, so it was surprising that a few films didn't get into the cut when there were 2 slots available. Those films include First Man, If Beale Street Could Talk, Can You Ever Forgive Me?, Mary Poppins Returns, and Cold War. Pavel Pawlikowski was the only person to be nominated for Best Directing whose film wasn't also nominated for Best Picture. His film was Cold War. If I had things my way, I would have put Beautiful Boy in this category too, but it has been criminally underlooked for recognition this year. Not a single nomination, but I digress. So you can make a sound argument for any of the 8 Best Picture nominees to win, but some definitely do have a better chance of winning more than others. So now I'm going to go through all of the 8 Best Picture nominees and list what's good about them and what's bad about them, what helps their chances of winning, and what hinders their chances of winning Best Picture. So let's start with BlacKkKlansman. What's good about this film? What helps its chances of winning? Well, first of all, Spike Lee got a nomination for direction, which is always a good sign because Best Director and Best Picture usually go hand in hand. BlacKkKlansman also got 6 nominations, which is good. It shows that the Academy likes it. It's certainly a political and topical film dealing with issues like racism in America. If it won, it would be a statement win. It was also the grand prize of the jury winner at the Cannes Film Festival, which shows it's got some prestige behind it. Okay, so now let's talk about the bad stuff. What factors prevent it from winning Best Picture? Well, first of all, the political climate in America has certainly cooled. The Academy's visible disdain for Donald Trump has certainly waned, as evidenced in the Golden Globe speeches. People weren't that political. So yeah, it doesn't feel like they need to pick a film in order to make a political statement towards Donald Trump. It also didn't win Best Picture at the Golden Globes or the Producers Guild Awards, and it also came out quite early in the year, so it's not going to be as fresh in the Academy's minds. Alright, so moving on to the next film, Black Panther. What's good about it? Well, firstly, it's a huge deal that it's even nominated. This is the first ever superhero film to be nominated for Best Picture. It could be a watershed moment for the Academy. The film is certainly political and it's topical, and it's got a predominantly black cast, which is almost unheard of. If it won, it would be a massive statement. It would mean superhero movies would be taken more seriously in the future. It also got 7 nominations in total, which means the Academy likes it. It's also been heavily nominated throughout the entire award season circuit. The Critics' Choice Awards, the BAFTAs, the Golden Globes, the SAGs, you name it, it's been up for pretty much all the biggest titles. Now let's talk about the bad stuff. Most of the Academy are going to see the nomination for Black Panther in the Best Picture category as a win by itself. It's a huge step forward, but that one step is enough. There was also no nomination for director Ryan Coogler. Also, all the other nominations for Black Panther were in the technical categories. There was none for writing or for acting, so it means the Academy views it more as something that's technically impressive, rather than something that's fully rounded. And literally no other superhero or comic book movies have ever been nominated for Best Picture. This is unprecedented. Alright, so moving on to the next one, we have Bohemian Rhapsody. What's good about it? Well, it's a crowd pleaser, and it's somehow critic-proof because critics really hated this film. And it also swept at the Golden Globes. Granted, it was only nominated for 2 things, but it won both of them, so yeah, that's giving it a boost. And what's bad about Bohemian Rhapsody? Well, first of all, there's no director nomination for Bryan Singer because of sexual allegations which have been brought to light. And because of the controversy surrounding Bryan Singer at the moment, it would be very controversial to pick Bohemian Rhapsody to win. It's also a very glossy, by-the-numbers biopic. And it would also be a very safe, boring choice for Best Picture. It has nothing to say as a Best Picture winner. Alright, let's move on to The Favourite. So what's good about this? Well, for starters, it has 10 nominations, which means the Academy loves it. It's a very well-rounded film because its 10 nominations tick a variety of different categories. Acting, writing, production design, costume design, directing, producing. It's a film that's going to be popular with female voters because it's a film centered around 3 strong, complex, and compelling female characters. It's also a period film which the older members of the Academy tend to love, but it's also accessible to the younger members of the Academy as well. It's simultaneously a comedy and a drama, so it's got great range. It's critically loved and it's a crowd pleaser. Yorgos Lanthimos also has a nomination for Best Directing. It's also got LGBT themes in it, which is going to be popular with the Academy. It's won loads of awards already, including the Grand Special Jury Prize in Venice. It's also in a great position of timing because it came out later in the year, so it's more fresh in the Academy's minds right now. And now the bad stuff. People were very surprised when The Favourite didn't take home the best film in the musical comedy category at the Golden Globes. That was a big surprise. But that's all I have. Alright, so next film is Green Book. What's good about it? Well, firstly, it won Best Film at the Golden Globes and the Producers Guild Awards, and those are a reliable precursor as to who wins Best Picture at the Oscars. It's also won at the People's Choice Awards and the Toronto Film Festival. It's somewhat topical as it deals with racism, tolerance. With Donald Trump trying to get this wall built, it might be in the Academy's minds that this film sends a positive message of unity. So it would be a bit of a statement win if it won. And Green Book also has 5 nominations, which shows that the Academy does like it. Now the bad stuff when it comes to Green Book. Well, Peter Farrelly didn't get a nomination for directing. This film has also had a string of controversies surrounding it lately. The story about Peter Farrelly splashing his genitals to people on previous films. One of the producers, Nick Vallelonga, came under fire because it turns out he tweeted something about Muslims celebrating 9/11. Viggo Mortensen used the N-word in a Q&A after a screening. So now it looks like Green Book would be a controversial pick because it would be the Academy validating inappropriate behaviour. And actual family members of the 2 lead characters have disputed that the friendship in this film is manufactured, which Mahershala Ali had to apologise for. There's already been some backlash for it winning Best Picture at the Golden Globes and the Producers Guild Awards. Did the Academy want to put more fuel on that fire? The film can also be seen as too old-fashioned, contentious, and just too safe a pick. But despite all the controversy that's surrounding Green Book, there is one more positive to note, and that is that if it does win Best Picture, it will reflect the film's themes of learning from mistakes, growing and evolving to a place of enlightenment. There is a narrative to be pushed there. Alright, so moving on, the next film we have is Roma. What's good about this? Well, like The Favourite, it also has 10 nominations, which shows the Academy loves this film. And like The Favourite, all its nominations are varied. Cinematography, acting, directing, writing, sound. And despite being a Netflix film, the fact that it got 10 nominations shows how much respect the Academy has for it. Alfonso Cuarón has been sweeping all the director awards over the award season circuit. Roma is critically adored, and it's vastly different in style compared to all the other Best Picture nominees, so it does stand out. It would be a statement win if Roma won because it would show that the Academy is evolving with modern times. It's also another female-driven film. It's also won a boatload of awards, including the Golden Lion at Venice, which The Shape of Water won last year, and then went on to win Best Picture. Can Roma do the same? Also, Netflix are amazing when it comes to marketing and social media, which indicates that they will be very good at campaigning for this film. Alright, so the bad stuff. What's working against Roma? Well, it's a Netflix film. Some of the older members of the Academy aren't happy with the change that we're seeing with the cinematic landscape with streaming services like Netflix. Which means if they really hate streaming services, they might place Roma quite low on the preferential ballot system as a sign of protest. It also might be seen by some members of the Academy as too artistic, because it's in black and white, it's foreign language, and it's quite slow and long. Also, Roma has a very good chance of winning Best Foreign Language Film, and a lot of Academy members will think, why do we need to give it Best Picture and Best Foreign Language Film? That's just being greedy. And also, some members of the Academy might see that its 10 nominations as a Netflix film is enough of a win for it. Also, no foreign language film has ever won Best Picture at the Oscars, and no Netflix film has even been nominated for Best Picture. It's uncharted territory. Alright, next we have A Star Is Born. What's good about it? Well, first of all, it got 8 nominations, which shows the Academy really likes it. It's a film about artists, and the Academy is made up of artists, and they love films that they can relate to. A Star Is Born was also a big crowd pleaser, and the critics liked it. So again, it's a safe choice. And it also premiered at the Venice Film Festival. A lot of the most recent Best Picture winners had their premiere at the Venice Film Festival. It's a common occurrence. And what's bad about it? Well, first of all, there was no nomination for directing for Bradley Cooper, no wins for Best Picture at the Golden Globes or the Producers Guild Awards. It's a remake of a remake of a remake of a classic, so it's not very original. It won't be a very exciting win. It doesn't really have anything to say politically or socially, so it'd be a very safe, forgettable win. And last but not least, we have Vice. What's good about it? Well, first of all, Adam McKay got a nomination for directing. It got 8 nominations in total, which suggests that the Academy does like it, and the content of the film does feel politically relevant. Now the bad stuff. The content of the film is controversial. It's about Dick Cheney, so people might not like it if it wins. It wouldn't make much of a statement if this film won. It doesn't really have anything to say. It was only fairly well received by critics, and it just hasn't made as much noise as it thought it would. It's not a front runner, and it's not really in the conversation. So as you can see, there is a lot of push and pull factors as to why each film could win Best Picture. Just like last year, I have tabulated the good and the bad and given each film a percentage as to how likely its chance chances are of winning Best Picture. I've also taken certain factors into consideration, like the hype surrounding the film's track record over award season, how many nominations it's got, how many wins it's got, how many of the Academy boxes it ticks, if it's relevant to today's political and social issues, and of course, my gut feeling. Starting from the bottom going to the top, there were two films that came in last with a score of 30%, that was Vice and Black Panther, and then we have Bohemian Rhapsody with 45%, then BlacKkKlansman with 50%, A Star Is Born got 65%, and then the last three films all got 75%, which were Green Book, Roma, and The Favourite. At this point, it really is a four-way race between A Star Is Born, The Favourite, Green Book, and Roma. These are the four films that could win, and here's why they could win. So when it comes to predicting Best Picture at the Oscars, Best Picture is the only category that isn't a popular vote. It's selected using a preferential ballot vote. Each of the Academy members has to rank all 8 of the Best Picture nominees from best to worst, from 1 to 8, 1 being the highest. The higher a movie ranks on the list, the more points it gets. So if the Academy collectively picks a film in the #1 spot which amount to 50% or more of the votes, then that film will win. But in most cases, this doesn't happen. So what they do is they eliminate the film with the fewest amount of first place votes, with the ballot then being apportioned to the next choice still in play. So it would be people's second choice, then their third, then their fourth, until they get a film which crosses the 50% plus 1 threshold barrier. It basically means that the Best Picture category isn't a popular vote like the rest of the categories where you only get 1 vote. It's more open. And it's usually why divisive films tend not to win. Because even though you might have a film which is beloved by certain members of the Academy who are all voting for it to be #1, you can have another section of the Academy which all really hate it and are all placing it at position #8. So it means its overall average isn't going to be as high as, say, a film which might not be everyone's #1 slot, but collectively is placing quite high with positions #2, 3, and 4. So often a film that's universally enjoyable and less controversial ends up winning. It's why A Star Is Born still has a decent chance to win it, because 9 out of 10 people really enjoyed that film. It might not be everybody's first pick, but it'll probably feature quite a lot in the top 4 of people's ballots. So it means Roma and Green Book are at a disadvantage because they are somewhat divisive. Green Book has gotten a lot of backlash for its wins at the Golden Globes and the Producers Guild Awards, and the Academy have been exposed to the backlash and the negative press for Green Book, so it might have an effect on how they make the decision when they place their votes. Roma is a black and white film, it's a foreign language film, and it's a Netflix film. It has a lot working against it. A foreign language film has never triumphed in the Best Picture category at the Oscars, and there's still a lot of Academy members that have a backwards viewpoint towards streaming services, and the old white men still do outnumber the younger, new, diverse editions that the Academy has included. It's almost like there's 2 different Academies with different viewpoints. The Favourite is, in my opinion, the dark horse to win Best Picture because it's not a controversial pick, it's certainly not divisive, critics and audiences loved it, it's female-driven and LGBT-themed, which the Academy will love, and 10 nominations in a variety of categories just shows how much love the Academy has for this film. It didn't win Best Comedy at the Golden Globes, and it didn't win Best Film at the Producers Guild Awards, so people have mentally deflated its chances of winning. But it has won loads of awards throughout the year, just not the ones that people really take into consideration when they make their Oscar predictions. So when it comes to who I want to win, I will be very happy if either The Favourite or Roma wins it. I haven't seen Green Book yet, so I can't say that I want it to win without having actually watched it. Although it certainly does look like a film that I'm going to love. Both The Favourite and Roma are masterpieces. A Star Is Born I thought was okay, but come on, it's a remake of a remake of a remake of a classic. Okay, there's nothing new to it, there's nothing original. There's nothing special about it. The Favourite and Roma are both original, female-driven films, and they're both entertaining, but for completely different reasons. Yorgos Lanthimos managed to make period dramas cool, and Alfonso Cuarón told an intimate story, but on an epic scale. I love both of these films. If either one of them wins Best Picture, I will be over the moon. But this isn't about who I want to win, it's about who I think will win. The last 3 years, I have failed to correctly guess the Best Picture winner at the Oscars. It has eluded me for some reason. And this year, I don't feel confident with what I put in that envelope. There's been no clear frontrunner. My head says one thing, my heart says another, and my gut says something entirely different. Last year, I went with my gut and picked 3 Billboards as the winner, but I was wrong. It went to The Shape of Water. This year, I want to go with my gut, but my head is at odds with my gut. The most reliable precursor to predicting Best Picture at the Oscars is to look at the recipient of Best Film at the Producers Guild Awards, because like the Oscars, they use a preferential ballot system to decide the best film, and also they have about 8,000 members, just like the Academy. There's usually a bit of overlap. The Best Film at the Producers Guild Awards has matched the Best Picture at the Oscars, 20 out of 29 times. So it's a highly reliable indicator and suggests that Green Book is going to be the one that wins Best Picture. That's where my head is at, but I'm someone that says you should always trust your gut because it has proven me right sometimes. I was right when it told me Casey Affleck was going to win Best Actor for Manchester by the Sea, and it was right when I listened to it when I thought Jordan Peele was going to win Best Original Screenplay at last year's Oscars. I might not be right every time, but I'm always glad when I trusted my gut and got it right. Because when it's right, it feels so good. You should always trust your gut feelings, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm predicting that the 2019 Best Picture Oscar will go to, drumroll please, what's it gonna be? Roma! I'm sure some of you are thinking, no, doesn't have a chance. And some of you might be cheering at my choice. But I'm going to explain why I think it's going to be Roma. First of all, Alfonso Cuarón has been snatching all the Best Director trophies over the award season circuit. And with the Oscars, there is a history of Best Picture and Best Director going hand in hand. Not always, but a fair amount of the time. With the sublime work from Alfonso Cuarón, not just in directing, but in cinematography, writing, and producing, he deserves to take home Best Picture for a collective body of work. But Luke, what about all its negative factors, like the older members of the Academy not liking Netflix, or the fact that it's in black and white, or that it's a foreign language film? Yes, I know that the odds are stacked against it in a preferential ballot vote, but hear me out. The Academy is in trouble. It has come under a lot of heavy fire in the last few years. What with Harvey Weinstein, #MeToo, and Time's Up. The envelope mix-up, the backlash to the proposed idea of a popular film category, Kevin Hart hosting the Oscars this year, and the fact that they haven't even found someone to replace him yet. There is so much controversy surrounding the Oscars that many have called into question the validity of the Oscars. Many people think it's outdated, irrelevant, and that it's lost touch with modern audiences and what films we watch. You can really feel the outcry of negativity that is aimed at the Oscars, and a lot of Academy members will be feeling the heat. They need to do something in order to help clean up their image. Roma winning Best Picture could be seen as a course correction for the Academy, their chance to prove that they are evolving and changing with the times. Roma winning Best Picture makes the biggest statement and represents change. A black and white foreign language film that's distributed by Netflix winning Best Picture will completely shake the foundations of the Academy and have a positive ripple effect throughout the entire film industry. It's a lifeline for the Academy, a way for them to simultaneously redeem themselves from all the negative press they've received and show that they respect the changing landscape of cinema. Plus, a foreign language film winning Best Picture at the Oscars will have global repercussions, validating the importance of foreign language cinema, as well as giving the Oscars a sense of worldwide unity. It's a win-win for them. It's certainly unprecedented, but if a foreign language film, which is also a Netflix original film, wins Best Picture, then it will show that the Academy is forward-thinking and progressive. It's their chance to show that they are relevant, and they should take it. In my opinion, it is the best made film of the year, the favourite coming in a close second, but Roma just takes the cake for me in terms of its craftsmanship. It's almost like we're watching Alfonso Cuarón's heart, soul, and memories on the screen. If Green Book does win, not to be hyperbolic, but it will be forgotten about. Roma will stand the test of time because it will be a landmark win and something significant for the history books. Green Book is this generation's Driving Miss Daisy, a safe, feel-good, 60s racial tension, comedic drama road trip film, which is perfectly watchable, but it's not a landmark. Unlike Driving Miss Daisy, if Green Book does in fact go on to win Best Picture, it'll be one of only 4 other films to win Best Picture without having a nomination for Best Director. The others include Wings in 1924, Grand Hotel in 1932, Driving Miss Daisy in 1990, and Argo in 2013. What will the Academy prefer of the focus of the press to be the morning after the Oscars? Peter Farrelly's Green Book becomes the 5th film in history to win Best Picture without a Best Director nomination? Or Roma makes history by being the first Netflix film and the first foreign language film to ever win Best Picture? There clearly is a favourable option. So I say to the Academy voters, let's make history, not repeat it. Especially in a year where we've had so many visible, prominent people of colour or black filmmakers making such landmark films like Black Panther, BlacKkKlansman, Crazy Rich Asians, and If Beale Street Could Talk. A light, fluffy, racially tense 1960s drama that's directed by a white man doesn't need the win for Best Picture. So that's why I'm thinking the Academy will see reason and select Roma to be the Best Picture of 2019. Will it be right? We'll find out on February 24th. But I can quickly summarize my thoughts and feelings towards the Best Picture category. Green Book will be the most likely to win based on statistics. The favourite is The Dark Horse, and Roma will be the historical winner if it's picked to be the winner. There you go, guys. That is my prediction as to who I think is going to win Best Picture at the 2019 Academy Awards. But this is a discussion. Do get involved in the comment section below. Who do you think is going to win Best Picture? I love hearing other people's thoughts, theories, opinions, and predictions. If you guys like this content, there's more prediction videos on their way. I'm doing the 4 acting categories, Best Director, and the 2 writing categories. If you guys do have any requests for any particular category, again, let me know in the comments section below. If there's enough of demand for it, I will make time to do a video. But if you don't want to miss any of my prediction vids, be sure to click that subscribe button, hit the bell if you want the alerts, and of course, add us on Twitter if you want my full Oscar coverage on February 24th. Thanks so much for watching, guys. For more things related to the Oscars, movies, TV, and popcorn culture, I'm Hearfield, and I'll see you next time.